morning. Thanks to Michele Navigazione for inviting me, and I can start. The aim of the paper is to briefly illustrate the main imperial and medieval ports of the Italian peninsula, and to show the continuity and discontinuity elements. In imperial period, many ports had been built in Novus Cementitium in Italy. The most important ones have been found in Lazio, Campania, and along the Adriatic coast. Among them we can distinguish coastal ports from inland ones, and military ports from commercial ones. I'm sorry, I know that you already know the case of Portus, but I need to introduce the speech. Portus was built by Emperor Claudius at the Tiber Delta and inaugurated by Emperor Nero. It was a large basin closed by two curvilinear docks, equipped with a lighthouse. Emperor Nero built a similar port in Antium. Portus was enlarged by Emperor Trajan, with a second hexagonal basin behind the Claudian one, and a new fossa canal to improve the connection between the port and Tiber. Emperor Trajan renovated the port of Ancona too, on the Adriatic coast, and built those of Terracina and Centuncelle, Civitavecchia, with the circular basins. The first one, Terracina, was excavated in the mainland, while the other, Centuncelle, was planned by Apollodorus of Damascus and closed by two docks. From Portus the goods reached Rome by the Tiber. In late Republican times, some river docks and specialized orrea, the so-called emporium, had been built in the area of the present Testaccio and restored under Adrian and Trajan. Even the Flavian Age port of Volturnum was built at the delta of a river Volturno, to facilitate the trades towards the inland. As Michele has shown, four ports were at Phlegrean fields. The military ones of Portus Iulius and Misenum, the commercial ones of Baie and Putelli. I wrote something about them, but I won't speak about them because Michele has shown everything. So here you can see only the image with the localization of the main port. Here Puteoli, Portus Iulius with the two lakes, Baie, and the port of Misenum with a double basin of volcanic nature. If the Tyrrhenic fleet was at Misenum, the Adriatic military fleet of Augustus was in Ravenna. According to the historical sources and some discoveries, the port basin was southeast of the city, probably outside Port Aura, and was connected to the sea by a canal. Other port structures were just off the coast, where the canal flew into the sea, in the area of Classis. Two long docks, in particular, gave access to the canal. According to the historical sources, the military port was equipped with a lighthouse, while another port in the city had commercial function. On the same coast, the river port of Aquileia, built under Emperor Claudius, is well known. The docks and the warehouses were on the both river banks, but the western ones, along the city centre, were monumental, with two different levels. It's possible that a port basin was in the area of Monastero, but is not preserved. At the same time, we don't know if some port structures were on the coast, where the Amphora Canal flew into the sea. Other Roman cities were marked and crossed by natural and artificial canals that assured the connection with the sea. We can see the examples of Altino and Este. The high Adriatic cities were connected each other by artificial canals, and to the northern trades through the Po River. River docks and orrea have been found, for example, in Padua. Recent archaeological digs for the metro stations in Naples brought to light a dock made of piling and stones, two wooden piers, end of the 2nd century, and some shipwrecks, which Michele has already shown. In late Antiquity, some of the Roman ports fell down, while others lived until 7th century. Port lagoons, in particular, saw ongoing use in the late Roman times. The port of Ravenna, second half of the 5th century, built around the Roman Canal was centered on the Civitas classis, modern classe. The masonry piers identified at the Podere Chiavichetta were built on deep wooden pile foundations and equipped with mooring poles and stairs leading down to the water. Some warehouses and the road flanked by porticos were connected to the canal, as we can see in the plan. Some restorations interested the port areas of the Byzantine cities, like Ancona and Naples, between the 5th and the 7th centuries. We have information about new workshops, warehouses, streets and defensive walls, but not just about the port structures. In Naples, the remains of the warehouses belonged to the new port, which developed after the silting up of the Roman one, located at Municipio Square, in the course of the 5th century. In the early Middle Ages, the high Adriatic coast became very important for the trade with Constantinople and the Eastern Mediterranean. The control of Adriatic trade slowly transferred from Aquileia in late Antiquity to Ravenna, the new imperial capital, tends probably to Comacchio between the 8th and 19th centuries, and finally to Venice, after the Venetians set fire to Comacchio itself in AD 932. Comacchio was a real emporium. Excavations at Villaggio San Francisco revealed a lagoon settlement at the Po Delta, with warehouses and 3 types of wooden port structures. Large platforms for the loading of heavy goods, piers for the mooring of vessels, and waterfronts made of wooden pilings. Vertical poles on different sides were used to anchor the ships and to facilitate their movement, or were part of lifting machines. The island port of Torcello remains very poorly understood, but Constantine Porphyrogentus in the 10th century considered it an emporium mega. However, it was surely a production site, as indicated by the glass workshop of the 7th century found during the excavations. Some wooden remains have been found in Civitas Nova Iracleana, Città Nova, and in the Venetian Lagoon, in particular at Olivolo, San Pietro di Castello and San Francesco del Deserto. Inland river landings assure the connection of lesser settlements to maritime trade lines. Our documentary sources indicate that such river ports might be managed by ecclesiastical bodies. This phenomenon was particularly common under the Lombards and Carolingians. The Lombard ports, in particular, are registered in a capitulary of Liutprand of 715. According to the historical sources, many river docks were located along the Po River, while the ports of Volturno were managed by San Vincenzo and Monte Cassino abbeys. The Carolingian period river piers of San Vincenzo have been found during archaeological sites that I coordinated some years ago, and I will show you this particular case. The port of San Vincenzo al Volturno comprised a masonry dock flanked by 2 piers, a large wooden platform, and a waterfront made of half poles. The wooden piers were built in the trilytic system, square beams up to 6 meters long, built into the monastic walls and supported by square poles or stone-built pillars, held up the plank flooring. The square masonry dock was built with a system of wooden arche, known also in the code of Lucca, an early medieval code. In fact, the material filling, which was found inside the best preserved casing, is this one. Was pseudo-cementitious, composed of mortar and stones. As at Comacchio, isolated vertical poles of different sides allowed the mooring of vessels, regulated their traffic, or were part of capre. The waterfront of San Vincenzo was probably used to realize a dry area for building the monastic wall. So here there is the photo of the excavation. This is the masonry dock built with the system of arche, and there were two piers, wooden piers, on the both sides. Here, large platforms with wooden beams that were set inside the walls of the monastery, and they usually were supported by stone pillars. And here is the waterfront, probably built to build the walls in a dry area. In conclusion, if Octavianus Augustus founded the military ports of the fleets, Claudius and Trajan built new ports or enlarged the late Republican ones. Between Roman time and early Middle Ages, with the exception of Byzantine cities, for example Ravenna, Naples and Ancona, we observe a clear caesura. The large imperial ports in Opus Cementitium, the military ones in particular, had been gradually abandoned in late Antiquity. New wooden structures were born on Italy's eastern coast to support the Adriatic trade routes. In the early Middle Ages, timber-constructed ports arose as emporia, such as Comacchio. Other landing places were established inland and were managed, often by ecclesiastical authorities, to control local trades, as exemplified by the example of San Vincenzo Volturno Abbey. Both in Roman times and the early Middle Ages, the lagoon areas were preferred. If in the Roman era wooden elements were usually used in the construction stages, later in the early Middle Ages they became the norm in docks and harbours, as well as in the domestic constructions. However, as the excavated data of San Vincenzo Volturno show, the Roman technique with arche was still known. Thank you.